It's your man Blocka Blocka TV. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Check out the videos. Join me in discussions related to different aspects of firearm. This is a mostly talk channel, but at occasions there'll be things around firearms themselves. But this is a mostly talk channel, so we'll talk guns, we'll talk firearms, we'll talk protection, we'll talk concealed carry, and those things. So again, it's your man Block. Let's get started. Guys, I want to do some real talk when it comes to which caliber is best or better, should I say, for self-defense. The biggest debate self-defense rounds is 380 versus 9mm. Now, any round that you have available to you is the best. A lot of people like to go off of ballistics and things like that. I don't like to go off ballistics. I like to go off real life experiences and things that go on in this world that most people who carry a firearm for self-defense, for protection, for whatever purposes they carry it for, most people, including most police officers, will never draw their weapon or be in a situation where a weapon is presented to them. So I tend to not go with the information that's put out by people that don't have any kind of skin in that game when it comes to that. Now, personally, I've never had to pull a weapon on someone, but I have had one pulled on me before. And it's not fun being on the other end of that. But that being said, guys, I grew up in the area where it's inner city. There's shooting was in my neighborhood. Gunfire was daily. I mean, every day I spent more than 10 years in one particular neighborhood, and it was almost daily. I would say, as I look back, it would be almost daily that someone was shooting. And every year, several people were shot and several people were killed in my neighborhood. So I have firsthand knowledge of what any caliber of bullet would do to you. If you hit someone in the right place, it really doesn't matter if it's a 22 and it gets inside your body and it bounces around and it causes more damage than a bullet that just goes in you and lodges there. This is the discussion of 380 versus 9mm. As you can see on the screen, guys, these are the two rounds that most people have the biggest gripe over. 380, according to a lot of ballistics, 380 doesn't pack the punch of a 9mm. And according to ballistics, the science behind it, sure, that's true. But then you have people who actually will choose a 9mm ball round, and then there's people who will not ever use a 9mm ball round for self-defense because they say that they need the expansion of a hollow point. So then you have, once you have gotten rid of, let's say, the 9mm side, once you've gotten rid of that argument, then now you have the guys you have two different sides of the 9mm argument. You have 9, and then you have 9 hollow point, which is a thing in itself. And then you're having this discussion of what happens when a bullet hits the body. And according to the science and according to the design of the round, they're going to perform, for the most part, the way that they were designed. Now, the problem is, again, real world experience. I know people that were shot with 22s, with people that were shot with 38s, people that were shot with 380s. Most of the people that I know are probably that have died or have been shot, and it has pretty much messed up their life. It's been mostly 380 and 22. on the streets, those are the most popular guns that people have. On the streets is a 380 because a lot of them are easily concealed, and a 22 because they're easily concealed, and then 22 is more is popular too because it's easier to come by 22 rounds, and if you spend less money, the average person on the street crime, I would say that was out committing crimes, they're not looking to go to a big box store and purchase ammo. I mean, just it's not that likely. Usually, it's people that are law-abiding citizens that would go that length, to buy ammo. So a lot of times when people come across weapons on the streets, it's usually not a large caliber. And I mean, 9 millimeter is probably the most popular choice of anyone out there who carries and conceals legally. But on the streets, from my knowledge, it's not. It's 380 and 22. 9 millimeter would be a close third, but again, so I look at it from a standpoint of, as opposed to self-defense, I look at it from a standpoint of people that I've come in contact with over the years who have either been victims of violent crime or committers of violent crimes and have been, arrested or convicted of violent crimes, and the calibers that they're using is, it's not mostly not 9 millimeter that I've come across. So not saying that there's anything wrong with 9 millimeter. What my perspective is that if you're shooting, if someone is on the receiving end of gunfire and they're hit, from what I've seen, I mean, the pain of the burning sensation that they say the bullet causes when it's inside of their flesh, that is more of a stopping point than, if you know what I'm saying, like if you're firing and you're missing, and scaring somebody, or I don't think when they're shot, they're not worried about, oh, what'd you shoot me with? A 9? You didn't shoot me with a 9. You shot me with a 380. Oh, I'm going to get up and attack you again. No, I mean, they're down, especially when shot placement is on target. So guys, I'm not with the ballistic talk when it comes to self-defense. I understand the ballistics, and I'm sure that if someone is injured somehow with a bullet, that ballistics, if you do a number of analysis on the people that have been shot, I'm sure the ballistics work out to the way that they say. But when it comes to self-defense, any round is better than no round. And when most people are when most people have a certain round at their disposal, that's what they're going to use. So there's a lot of people walking around with little 22s and 380s because on the streets, that's one of the most popular. Those are the two most popular calibers from my perspective. So most of the people that I know that are the victims of or perpetrators of gun violence, it's 380 is way more prevalent than 9 millimeter. I'll say that. So again, guys, coming from a perspective of someone that knows victims and perpetrators of violent crimes, which most people that carry for self-defense, you'll never, ever use. Not saying you won't, but most people never will have to pull out their gun for any reason but target practice. In a self-defense situation, most people that carry conceal never have to pull their guns. Most police officers never have to pull their guns to shoot or to threaten someone. It's just not in the numbers. Whereas you would see way more civilian and officer involved shootings than you do. It's just not there. And most people that pull their guns, they're not pulling a gun to shoot someone. They're pulling the gun to get the threat to stop being a threat. So when you get to the point where you're actually firing a weapon at somebody, you're not trained to shoot to injure. You're trained to shoot to kill. So if you happen to have to be placed, unfortunately, in that situation, you if your life is in danger, then that's the threat level that you're, coming from. But most people never will have to fire a weapon ever. It's that simple. Most people that buy guns, they don't even target practice. You know what I mean? After the first time of taking it to the range, after maybe once, maybe twice, most people will have a gun that they just don't even care. I mean, they carry it, but they don't get proficient with it. So again, this is real talk about which caliber is best for self defense. I am just a person that is more practical than in practical application and things as opposed to the data and the paperwork. Like you can learn something one way in school, and then when it comes to on the job training, there's variables that are not ever factored in, that could never be factored in to the book work. It's just not possible to know every variable, and the only way to know those extra variables is practical application. And based off what I've seen and what I know, 380 has been that. Now, if you're someone that's been in theater of war, if you're somebody that's been in places where, um, where you've had to deploy and you've had to fight in the military or different law enforcement scenarios, and you've had to shoot, fire your weapon for whatever reasons, then those people are an exception to the rule when it comes to most people never using their weapon to defend themselves or anyone else. Again, most people will never have to do that. It's the fear of being in that situation that sells most of the guns that are sold in the United States and around the world. It's the fear that something is going to happen, so I guess I better be prepared for it than to not be prepared. That's why they say having some type of firearm is better than having none when it comes to self-defense. So, yeah, this is your man Blocka. You guys get in the comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you've been in any situations that you had to fire your weapon, that you've had to deal with any situation, or if you know someone or you personally have been injured by a firearm, and if it was a 9mm or a 380. I mean, let me know what you guys think of this 9mm versus 380 thing. Do you think 9mm is a better option than 380, or do you think 380 is a better option than 9mm? I mean, there's an argument on both sides. So this is a gun talk TV show. So let's talk guns. Check you on the next one.